Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. One day before its closing, Muscat International Book Fair attracts a large turnout of visitors as publishers and readers praise the scope of freedom it enjoys. Underground water levels rise after recharge dams retained rainwaters that fell over the last week in the northern governorates of the Sultanate. And the German Chancellor says it's counterproductive for European countries to implement individual measures in response to the migrant crisis, and Europe needs to work closely with Turkey to stop their flow. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. After an active scientific and literary movement, as well as holding various seminars, dialogue sessions, and including a number of local publications, the Muscat International Book Fair prepares for its closure tomorrow, Saturday. The book fair included launching of new Omani publications and a magazine targeted to children. During the last few days, the book fair also gave an opportunity for the readers to meet their favorite book authors. The Ministry of Information stressed that they did not prevent any book from showcasing in the fair. It witnessed an active purchase movement, and the main committee specialized days for school and college students, in addition to days for families. The visitors, readers, and publishers praised Muscat International Book Fair and stressed that the freedom of speech level at the exhibition is high. During the last few days of the week, the northern governorates of the Sultanate witnessed heavy to moderate rainfall that caused a number of wadis and their tributaries to overflow in various wilayas. In addition to the underground water level rose after recharge dams retained rainwaters. The heavy rainfall was caused by a deep air trough accompanied with active winds and hail that led to low temperature degrees in various wilayas. Most noticeable governorates affected by the deep air trough were Muscat, Dakhiliya, Musandam, North and South Batina, and Sharqiya. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says it's counterproductive for European countries to implement individual measures in response to the migrant crisis. She says border slowdowns and closures have just meant that migrants are now piling up in Greece, overwhelming the country's resources. Merkel is pushing for an European solution and said today that while meeting with French President François Hollande in Paris, that unilateral solutions do not help us. She said Europe needs to work closely with Turkey to stop the flow of migrants and also to secure its outer borders so that it knows who is entering and what movement within Europe is not restricted. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that no consensus has been reached over the timing of polls in rebel-held East Ukraine after France and Germany pushed for elections to be held by the end of July. The top diplomats from Ukraine, Russia, France and Germany met in Paris but failed to make a breakthrough on a stalled peace plan for East Ukraine, thrashed out in the Belarusian capital Minsk a year ago. The local elections in the areas held by the pro-Russian rebels, whom Kiev and the West say Moscow arms and directs, are seen as a key step in untangling a conflict that claimed over 9,100 lives since April 2014. French Foreign Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault said that the Paris meeting yesterday was a step forward, but his German and Ukrainian counterparts painted a gloomier picture of negotiations. The Kremlin today called for a restraint after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ordered that the country's nuclear arsenal be readied and preemptive use at any time. Kim ordered the North nuclear warheads deployed on standby in a widely expected uptick in military saber-rattling from Pyongyang following the UN Security Council's adoption of tough new sanctions. While the North is known to have a small stockpile of nuclear warheads, experts are divided about its ability to mount them on a working missile delivery system. Russia, which enjoys friendly ties with North Korea, backed the tough UN measures against the regime on Wednesday after arduous negotiations between the United States and Pyongyang's main backer, China. Hours after the United Nations adopted the sanctions, North Korea fired 6 short-range projectiles into the sea in a new show of defiance. The U.S. Defense Department responded to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's order for his country to be ready to use nuclear weapons at any time by saying that Pyongyang should refrain from provocative actions that aggravate tensions. Commander Bill Urban, Pentagon spokesman, had this to say.
I've seen the reports of these missile shots that they allegedly took. I'm actually not in a position right now to independently confirm that they actually did that. But let's just assume for a moment that they did. Not exactly surprising. It's typical of the kind of response that we have seen from them in the past. Is it provocative? Absolutely, it is. There's no doubt about that. It is just if true that they fired off these missiles, it would just be another example of increasingly provocative, unnecessarily provocative conduct by Pyongyang. That only underscores the importance of the resolution that was passed yesterday and the resolve of the international community in a unified way to enact more robust measures. Now, I'm not at all in a position to predict what, if any, additional measures might be taken by the UN or by any other nation with respect to these reports of these latest missile launches. I wouldn't get ahead of that. What we want to see, what we're focused on right now is now that this resolution is passed, is making sure that it gets enforced in a robust manner.
Still to come in our news bulletin. The geriatric working class shows no sign of shrinking in Japan as more than 20% of Japanese are older than 65 still go to work. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The price of Oman oil May delivery rose by 49 cents to reach $33 and 73 cents per barrel, compared to yesterday's price, which was $33 and 24 cents. The average price of Oman oil March delivery has stabilized at $27 and 40 cents, thus $7 and 19 cents per barrel lower than February 2016 delivery. Coinciding with the Gulf Talent and Creativity Day approved by the General Conference for Education Ministers in Gulf Cooperation Council countries, the Ministry of Education held a ceremony in Umar bin Khattab Institute for the Blind to highlight the importance of the Talent Day, which falls on the 3rd of March each year. It came to focus on enhancing the capabilities and skills of the youth. The ceremony witnessed scientific and artistic sessions, in addition to visual presentations and students' innovations. It was attended by various segments of the society. Drugs and its security consequences on individuals, the family, and the society was the center of discussion of Drugs Awareness Seminar held in Saad ibn Ibada Basic School in the Wilaya of Ibri in the Governorate of Al-Dhahira. The seminar also dealt with the social impacts of this phenomena. It also highlighted the laws and regulations that combat this scourge in its types, sources, and ways of treatment. On the sideline of this seminar, an exhibition was organized showcasing pictures of types of drugs and booklets on ways of prevention. Within the aim to spread the awareness of voluntary work, benefit from youth energy and highlight their creativity in various fields, the activities of the third Adheba Cultural Forum started in Adheba Beach Park. The forum contained a number of cultural, entertainment and health activities with participation of a number of governmental, private and voluntary teams. It also included boat racing, beach football, theatre play shows, inshad events, children competitions and various artistic teams. Public parks and beaches are considered one of the best places visited by the citizens of the Wilaya of Khabura, who spend their beautiful moments, especially in moderate weather conditions. However, these places lack the necessary services, such as restaurants, coffee shops, toilets, and places for family gathering. The bodies concerned are working in providing the services and develop the public parks and beaches in the upcoming period so as to serve the society and tourists visiting the area. Japan's silver-haired workforce is everywhere these days as the country's population is getting older. The trend is set to increase. Here's a report.
Retirement? Not for this 86-year-old. Teruo Sugiura spends 4 days a week in this workshop in Tokyo, repairing traditional Japanese sliding doors.
There's no point staying at home, twiddling my thumbs. At least I'm happy working here, and I like the company.
Teruo is one of some 7 million Japanese who've returned to work after retiring. With a shrinking and rapidly aging population, this silver-haired workforce is, for some analysts, a boon for the country's flagging economy.
Increase in number of active workers will be a driving force of economic growth in the supply side, and also more growing number of active consumers will also be a driving force of economic growth in demand side.
And money is indeed the main reason many choose to return to work, with the average salary for pensioners like these around 300 euros a month. Taiko Nishima has been back in employment for 7 years. At 74, she's looking ahead, knowing that her pension will never be enough to pay for a nursing home.
It costs around 2,000 to 2,500 euros a month for full service. I can't do that with my pension, so I am putting money aside every month from what I earn here to plan ahead.
The government is gradually raising the retirement age to 65 by 2025, but even that would seem unlikely to deter Japan's geriatric working class.
Now for the general weather forecast. Clear to partly cloudy skies will prevail over the governorates of South Sharqiya and Wusta and coastal areas of Sea of Oman with chances of scattered rainfall. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies. Winds over the coastal areas of Sea of Oman will be northeasterly light to moderate, while it will be southeasterly light to moderate along the rest of the Sultanate. Seas will be slight to moderate along the coasts with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. One day before its closing, Muscat International Book Fair attracts a large turnout of visitors as publishers and readers praise the scope of freedom it enjoys. Underground water levels rise after recharge dams retained rainwaters that fell over the last week in the northern governorates of the Sultanate. And the German Chancellor says it's counterproductive for European countries to implement individual measures in response to the migrant crisis, and Europe needs to work closely with Turkey to stop their flow. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.